Hey guys, just wanted to put up a quick video on cuckoo dungeons. Now, a lot of people have a lot of trouble clearing these. They do get fairly hard after around stage 8, but they're very beatable. They're not like you're gonna need the appropriate gear and the appropriate grade of characters to be able to do it, and you're not gonna beat stage 10 with a bunch of 2 stars. It's just not gonna happen. But the most important thing to note with these is your formation. So I'm just going to do a quick explanation. All the cuckoos have some kind of crazy debilitating weakness. Now the rock is probably the best type because they're weakening. They have a 90% defense, which, if you can see the number here, 111,599 defense. That's pretty outrageous. It's so nice that defense scales so poorly, and it's not they don't just completely take 0 damage from everything. But if they get stunned, they lose 150,000 defense. So they're basically at 0 defense. It's the game's made it so even if there's some way for you to buff the enemy's defense, that you will make them have 0 defense if you stun them. And then they just have 153,000 HP after that. I'm looking at the stage 10 ones, so these numbers are pretty exaggerated compared to some of the other ones. But that I just wanted to get the point across to what the different weaknesses are. So for this, what I would do is this is like an example of a decent formation for this map. I'm not going to play every single one. Maybe I'll play the scissor one because that's one that I think is the easiest that people have the most trouble with. Or maybe I'll do the paper because I have the paper recharged fully right now, or not fully, but I could do the paper dungeon without paying crystals. Maybe drop Bearman here for another character like Jenny, because even though her stun's got a low rate, it's still fairly useful to hit more than one character at a time with it. So that would be a good example for your formation. You want to have your characters that stun first because the stun will wear off. Obviously, Kai should be in your formation all the time for this dungeon. I can't explain why, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Kai's armor ignore does not ignore 4,200 defense of the 100,000 some defense that they have. It ignores almost 40% of it. My Kai can hit 40,000 damage without criticals against these guys with his third skill. Chunny does have a minor ignore of about 2,000. But for whatever reason, Kai does fantastic damage against these things. So always keep Kai in your party for this, and then just use stun characters. And then for your last character, just have whatever your strongest character can be. If you have better ways to stun, if maybe you got Lancer Alex, maybe he would be a good pull here because paper characters seem to have stun locked down. It's when I was looking at characters with good stun, there's a couple scissor characters, but for the most part, it's basically all paper's got all the great stuns, which is nice, seeing as how this is the rock dungeon. All right, going on to the next type, scissors. All right, the scissors have the easiest weakness for you to deal with. They have first off, their thing is huge HP. They have, if you look over to the left, they have 600,000 health. So you're thinking to yourself right away, how the hell am I going to do that much damage even? But if you have a damage over time effect on them, which is so easy to get, they take 200% more damage. That is a pretty crazy amount of weakening. So I found this to be one of the easier ones. Very, very simple. Deb first. If you're going to choose a mercenary for this fight, choose another Deb Merc because it's going to make everything better for you. You can have a Deb on both left and right side of the map. You're just going to completely crush it. I almost always run Kai and Chunny. Serenity's got some damage over time skill, And if you're looking for other ones, there's lots of characters with damage over time effects. Ones that I have here, I guess Jenny's first skill has damage over time, so that would be just a basic example. And same thing as the first dungeon, you want to have your heavy hitters going last. You want to have the debilitators going first. Deb, amazing at this map. All right, and for the paper is a little bit different. There's nothing really super defensive about the paper. They're just in the middle of just about everything. 2500 defense, strong attack, still crappy hit rate like everything else in PvE. 400,000 health, that's pretty high. And they have a huge, their counter damage 27,000, 9,000. If you look at it as a percent, 90% counter rate, 270% counter damage. I think there might also be, like, the bosses I think are 5% higher. So, where are we looking here? There's the bosses. Yeah, the bosses have 95% counter rate and 370 counter damage. But they're very, very, very strong. Paper's the one that people seem to just get completely face rolled and killed very easily on. But decreased movement effects are becoming more and more common. Alfred comes to mind, but what I like about this map is you don't really have to rely on that. What's nice about the paper map is you can just straight up win normally without having to do any damage effects. Now I'm going to play this one and I'm going to demonstrate the effect, but it's not something you should feel you actually absolutely have to do this or you're never going to win. For some reason, I cannot think of any more good scissor characters to raise for this. But I'm sure it'll come to me. I just got Kung Fu Girl Tao. Maybe I'll raise her. So for now, I guess I'll just put in Serenity. She's got a movement debuff skill, but mostly I'd rather have her charm. Serenity is good for every stage or every dungeon. Best on the scissor map, of course, because her charm does damage over time as well to activate the weakening. But charm is something that works on all Nepenthes. Alright, so this is the only one I'm actually going to play because it's the only one I have charges for. And if you're picking mercs for this, obviously pick something that could either do a crap ton of damage or might have some kind of movement debuff. There's some people who use Alfred as mercenary. It's pretty rare, but he would be a good merc if you don't raise one yourself. Now, because all these things have really, really bad hit rate, I would normally start this just by going YOLO and hitting these things in the face. I'm almost always going to start with a Hellfire also, because they've all got just enough health. But just for the sake of demonstration, even though I'm probably going to be dodged here, I'm just going to use the movement decrease just to demonstrate. And it didn't work on that one, but it worked on the second one. So I'm going to attack this with Kai. Hopefully he counterattacks me and does 0 damage. Oh, he did 1 damage. Fantastic. Alright, this is how I normally beat it though. I don't really rely on that. I just put Bearman in the middle and watch him soak up everything. These maps typically take a long time. I probably should have done a stage 9 one just so I didn't have to take the full 5 or 6 turns to beat it. But this is just how I prefer to beat it. It seems easier to let them all attack Bearman and then just to stay out of the range of their counterattack. Or to put a character with really high dodge in where I would attack it in a way that it would be able to counterattack me. It's pretty easy to get heroes nowadays. Like if you've been playing since it came out, you should have a good collection of like 30 heroes by now. Try to build a team that doesn't ever need to be counterattacked, and you'll never have any problems. Because their counter damage is really the only thing notable. Now you still have to be able to do enough damage to kill them, but it's not as hard as you'd think. Okay, Kai Master Race. Let's see, where's a good place to stand? Okay. Guess this is the best one. I don't have any movement. I'm just going to hit this one in the back here because he'll probably die and then I won't get counterattacked. Alright, Bearman's up. I like to keep Bearman, like, the first stage is too tempting not to let Kai hit all 4 guys, so that's why I let Kai get hit early. But typically, Bearman, I want him to be somewhere where he's not going to be surrounded by anybody else. So he can't really be hurt that badly. And who do I want to charm? Oh man, you know what? This is actually just too good of a place. I feel like this is a bad mistake here, because I'm definitely going to get counterattacked. I guess I'll put the counterattack down over here so I can get counterattacked at Bearman instead of Kai. The 5 targets that I could potentially charm. I only got 2, but that's fine. And I charmed the one that I attacked, so I didn't get counterattacked either. So charm, super useful. Armor ignore, super useful. They've only got 2,500, 3,000-ish defense. Super tank Bearman. He could sit here all day and take these attacks. He's basically soaking up everything. He's got the aggro pull. He's got so many great advantages for him on this map. I think I should probably not do this. Should probably hit him with the movement. I'm running out of good targets. Alright, great, we got it. What I don't like about some of these mechanics to defend yourself or to get strong advantages is that they're not guaranteed all the time to work. But as you can see, it's pretty easy to clean this up after. Now, this is stage 10, keep in mind, but like I said before, you can do this on basically every single stage. Just try to stack your team with as many characters that have the weakness of the dungeon. And just try to group everything around your tank and use your big AoEs. That's probably the best advice I can give, and it seems to be fairly easy once you have that down. Anyway, just going to close the video up here in a second. Hope it was helpful to some, if not all of you. And let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. Ta-da! And it's a 6-turn clear for all the dungeons to get SS, if you were wondering. Alright, I'll post this right away. Hopefully that some people can take advantage of it while all 3 maps are still up today. And good luck. Have fun.